Well, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this update, we're going to cover the portfolio moves. We're going to talk all things stocks, crypto, as well as options. And then we'll look at some moves that I'm looking at for tomorrow with the big day of the election, as well as some surprising things I think you guys will find as well. If you guys enjoy this content, be sure to smash the like button. If you have any constructive criticism, make sure to drop that down in the comments section below. So today, the main stock account was sitting at $256,953. We're down $1,965. For the main movers in the account, here are the positions from largest to smallest. We had Amazon down 1.4%. We had Palantir with a whopping 12% gain, now sitting on 221% gain on that one. Tesla was down 2.2%, CrowdStrike was down 1%, and Meta was down 1%. We'll get into the options later. I want to walk you guys through the moves really quickly. So, I didn't actually make any moves today, but this is like my third time recording this video. I actually did it on Friday, and then I did it again on Saturday, but I was having a whole bunch of computer problems, and so hopefully this video ends up actually making it to YouTube. But still going to cover all of the moves that you guys have not seen yet. So on 10/31, I rolled my $74 Shopify calls to $75. Those were expiring Friday, so a few days ago, and I rolled those out to this Friday. Then I also opened up some $20 Robinhood puts. I chose 6 contracts and collected $224 in credit. Those expire about a month out, November 29th. And then I also, on the 1st, I rolled the $76 Shopify calls to $77. Those also expire this Friday. The reason why I did not roll the 74 calls and the 77 calls on the same day is because the 74 calls had much less extrinsic value, and the 76 calls had a lot of extrinsic value, but Shopify did rally on last Friday, and so I had to roll those as well. As far as Hood, I wanted to show you guys kind of what I was looking at on Hood, because this is an unusual move for me. So basically, this was, let's see what day this was, 10/31. So this was Thursday, and what I did, I believe that was Thursday, I think. But anyway, normally I do not like to go ahead and open up cash secure puts on these gigantic red candles, even though a lot of people who sell options on YouTube would tell you that is a good day to sell a put. And it is from the standpoint of getting great credit and high volatility. However, normally after gigantic red days, you get another red day because you're going to just shake out those weak hands. As we can see right here, this was like the carry trade problem, and even after a massive red day, the very next day we were down more as well. So it's not in my nature to go ahead and do that because I'm more of a conservative type of option seller. But the one thing I had going on this particular trade was this blue line, which is the 50-day moving average, and so I figured this would make it a more high probability trade. I also noticed that even intraday, if we look at that wick, you can see that it did slightly drop below the 50 moving average and ended up closing above the 50 moving average. So that gave me some confidence that there would be some support the next day. And as we saw there on Friday, that did hold true. So that ended up being a good move. I'm still holding on to those puts. They're up about 50%, I do believe. We will look at those in a minute. So I also was just kind of looking at it from the perspective of Robinhood is kind of like a cultish stock right now in the retail community. So I knew that there would be some dip buyers in that name for sure. So that gave me some comfort as well as far as selling that put. So that was all. Yep. So the Shopify calls now expire this Friday, 74 or 75 strike as well as 77 strike. So we'll see what happens to those at the end of the week. Get back to the options in a minute. I wanted to start incorporating some tweets that I come upon and that I like, so I can share them to you guys as well. This from the Traveling Trader, such a great point. It says, do not buy the dip too often. Make sure your key levels are spaced out enough so you actually eat into your average price. And for God's sake, stop bragging about buying SMCI cheap. It's down another 15% today. Possible accounting fraud is not an overreaction. So I love this tweet because I see it all the time, especially in people's favorite stock. They're just buying the dip sort of blindly. And so it's one thing, set your levels of different support levels and wait for each to be hit before you continue buying the dip. Because if, let's say you buy Palantir, obviously today it was up a lot, but let's say you buy Palantir at 40 bucks and then it drops to 39, that's not the next appropriate time to buy the dip. Bring up the chart, look at your support and resistance, and also, apart from just support and resistance, set certain percent levels. Like, okay, I'm going to wait for it to come down another 10%, so I'll wait until 36 Palantir's call, so, or stock price rather. So I really enjoyed that tweet there. Okay, looking at the crypto portfolio, this baby has been, as TJ would say, we got a bleeder. So we're down 2,357. That's just in the past 24 hours, really down closer to like 20 grand or so in the past few days, as Bitcoin has sold off a little bit going into the election. This is all just this portfolio tomorrow evening is either going to be up 30 grand or probably down another 15 grand, depending if Trump wins or not. So it's definitely something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. As we can see, just in the past 7 days, most of these are down anywhere between 15 and 20%. Some of the meme coins even over 23%. But I'm not doing anything here. I don't really have too much more like DCA cash to go into this portfolio unless we see major movement down. So just holding strong there. This tweet from Elio Trades. So this is interesting right here, guys. It says every U.S. election week in Bitcoin's history has been the lowest price it will ever be again. And this was on November 1st. So he said 4 days left, tick-tock. So if we look at these red circles, these were the election days. And as you can see, that was the lowest price Bitcoin ever was, ever. So, this was a couple years ago, and Bitcoin never went back to that. And then 2021 and then 2017. And so if this holds true again, tomorrow is going to be the lowest price Bitcoin ever is. So definitely something to keep in mind. All right, now looking at the little Robinhood portfolio, this is where I do a lot of my buying of leaps or spreads or different things. So I don't let this portfolio get too big, or else I'll be able to, I kind of take some more risk than I normally would in the big portfolio. So this one was down almost 5% today. The moves that I made since my last update on this one, I can't really show because, as you can see right here, it says event contracts can't be traded on the web. But I basically bought $2,000 worth of bets on Kamala Harris. And so that I bought that last week sometime. So I bought them, I believe, at like 38 cents. Now they're worth like 40 something, low 40s. So those are up like, I want to say like 400 bucks or so. But this is obviously just a hedge. And so I hope that that goes to zero. But I'm so heavily overweight in crypto that I feel will do super well if Trump wins. I'm so heavily overweight in crypto that I needed to make some sort of hedge, and it's not really even a good hedge. A true hedge would have been probably closer to 5% of my portfolio, which would have been more like, let's see, do the math for you guys real quick. A true hedge would have been more like 21,000. I probably would have done half of that, so more like 10,000. But yeah, it just doesn't. I was seeing sort of like a worst case scenario where Trump wins, Bitcoin like See, the thing is it's not just going to be an immediate reaction one way or the other. Like the counting of the votes start coming in late in the evening, and so the Bitcoin markets, crypto markets, are going to react in real time to that. And so if Trump ends up looking like he's going to win, Bitcoin's going to slowly, steadily climb. And then if it's actually announced like Trump won, that could actually be a sell-the news event. So there's going to be a lot of volatility either way. So I didn't want to put myself in a position where my thesis played out. Trump won, my crypto went up a lot, and then I lost my $2,000 hedge. And then for whatever reason, it becomes like a little bit of a sell the news. And then my crypto comes back down. So I didn't want to put myself in that position. I hope Trump wins and my hedge goes to zero, but we'll see. Just because I bought the hedge does not mean I voted for her. I did not vote for her. I voted for Trump. So don't come at me in the comments about that. All right. Also added to this since the last update, a Snowflake 120 call. This was a buy call, so I bought another leap on Snow. So this, no, that's the sell call. So the 120 sold call is almost up 80%. That expires this Friday. I added a Snow 120 buy over here last week. That one's down 8%, and the reason why I did, I do have a little bit of excitement for Snow. I like to mingle technicals with fundamentals, and so I'll show you guys what was the real reason that caused me to buy this at this point. But I think Snow definitely has some potential, and with how low it is at this point, it's just more of a risk-reward play. It doesn't mean like I love the company or I think it's going to do better than Palantir or anything like that, but I just think for this account, it's more of a risk-reward play, and with how good the premiums are on Snow, I can easily, over the next year or two, because this expires, let's see, 126, so I have about a year to sell calls against this, and I can most definitely work that back to a cost basis of zero, because I can collect, if we go back to this sell, I can collect about 400, you see right here, I can collect $470 a month on this. And so after a 6-7 months, 8 months, I'll be able to work my cost basis back to zero. So it kind of limits my risk a little bit there, in my opinion. We still have the Tesla spreads. These are down because Tesla's been coming down, but these are still up 74%. Just holding on to those until like 95%. Celsius, we have $35 leaps. Not selling anything because Celsius has earnings this week. And then the Snow 110 leap is, let's see, is down 2%. So I'll actually look to add a third Snow leap when certain technical indicators are met. But I'll show you guys one of my favorite technical indicators of all time is this right here, and this is what caused me to buy this leap at this point. So let's see if this will let me draw on here. So this right here, if we look down here in the bottom right hand corner, we got the MACD crossover on a weekly chart. You see right here, this is a weekly chart. So that caused me to go ahead and buy the leap now. And if you see, I mean, this stock fell from 237 down to 113. So that's definitely a risk reward that I like. I think it's actually even higher. Was that the highest that it was? Let's see. Snow. If you guys hear my... No, sorry. Yeah, I knew. I felt it was different. This stock fell from 429 to 107. So this was just, that little bump was just sort of the recent, 237 was just sort of the recent high. So this stock has really had a tough time. It's near all-time lows right here, all-time low 107, sitting at 113, so I like my chances there. Let me put that back so I can talk about it later. Okay. So I think that was all. Oh, in this Robinhood account, I also sold all of the Ethereum 2x leverage because I needed some cash for this Snow leap, and I was up a little bit on the Ethereum position, and I was just sick of going down 20% and then coming back to break even, and then coming down 20% and then back to break even, because that's what Ethereum has been doing. It's been going down about 10% and then coming back, and then back down 10% and then coming back. So obviously, if Ethereum moves 10%, I think it was ETHU was the ticker, is going to move up 20%. So I just wanted to lock in, the small win and then put that money to use. And it's a good thing I did, because Ethereum has fallen pretty heavily since then. So that's all of the moves in this portfolio since my last update. It doesn't show the Harris bet that I made. I put 2,000 on it, and I think the payout's like 4,880 if Harris does win. So, all right. The other thing I was looking at doing was actually buying some SMCI leaps tomorrow, 'cause they report after the bell. And I'm just looking at this thing like, how much more oversold can it get? This bad boy fell from 122 to 26, and we are seeing, I like going to the monthly, so let's go to max. Monthly is always going to be your strongest like support. So I mean, this is like a super buy zone. I know it would not have fallen this far if it wasn't for all of the like fraud accusations. So I realize there's some risk there, but I'm looking at this like, I really feel like I can manufacture this win fairly easily by just selling calls against it. If I know if I'm wrong, I'd probably lose half my money maybe, but if I'm right, this could be a double, triple pretty quickly, because I think it's a name that people, and as well as Wall Street, does like. Just everyone's kind of afraid, what they're going to find out right now. But I think it's a pretty low risk, high reward play, and so I'm still thinking about it. But I'm thinking that tomorrow I'm going to buy like 2 or 3 January leaps for like $25 for 2026. So just keeping you guys up to date on that. Looking at tomorrow after the close, so we have SMCI. I'm just going to point out some things that I'm looking at. Obviously, Palantir and HIMS those were what I was looking at today. Tomorrow, I'll be keeping my eye on Supermicro. Wednesday, I'll be looking at Celsius, as well as ELF. Thursday, I'll be looking at DraftKings, Block, Unity, Affirm, and then Friday, I don't really see anything on there. Also Thursday, we do have FOMC interest rate decision, so keep an eye on that one. This might be the most volatile week of the year. I don't know if the stock market will be that volatile, because one way or the other, I don't think the president will affect the overall indices that much. Maybe particular stocks, but I don't think the overall indices will like pump or sell off one way or the other. They'll probably react more to this FOMC interest rate decision more than the election, in my particular opinion. So I hope you guys like this new format. I definitely enjoy it way more than just doing it on my phone. So I hope to be doing these type of updates more often, and I definitely think they're more interactive, so you feel like you guys can actually see me. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, take care and God bless.